Vaughn,
Hey, what's up, man?
how you doing?
Good, good. There you go. All right.
Go ahead and go ahead and get some people in here.
Yeah.
Brother, brother Wellmaster, welcome in. What's going on? Yeah, we about to. Bavon, can you see his comments?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we about to talk about what we got going on in the AI landscape, as well as just briefly talk about a few AI updates within the news. Yeah, just things that we got going on.
Yeah, I think we've been talking about this for a while, but there's a lot happening in the AI space that a lot of people just can't keep up. You and I in it every day, but still, man, there's so much happening that the regular people on the street, like, what does this even mean? So that's kind of the whole point of you and I trying to get on here finally and talk about this stuff.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. I think in Chicago alone, you and I see this every day. Like, there's people talking about AI, but it's a super high level or just not as deep as we take it. You know what I'm saying? So I think doing stuff like this makes sense, man. I think just regular people are just trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
Man, you hit it on the nail. And I feel like that a lot of people they talk about AI, but they don't talk about, as you talked about earlier, AI implementation. A lot of people don't just explain to the average Joe on how they can use AI to automate certain tasks. They always say like ChatGPT this, like or Perplexity this, but they don't actually show them how to implement that to make their lives way easier and just way more efficient, which is crazy to me.
And there's some stuff that just came out like OpenClaw. I mean, I think that's just been dominating the news like crazy. But how would you explain that to like a regular person? I mean, you and I get it. I've been following like crazy, but how would you explain that level of like automation and stuff?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, OpenClaw, I would say, is like a I want to say it's like a octopus, meaning it's like an operating system, but it has like eight or more different legs and things that it can connect to. So when you think of um, OpenCloud, just think of something that can automatically, as well as just repetitive, like repeatedly, it can do a task without need any interruption. So just think of like OpenCloud as like ChatGPT but on steroids. What I mean is that it can be way more proactive. So you can literally prompt your OpenCloud Mac Mini or whatever device you're running it on, and you can say, every time that I wake up, I want you to come up with three different AI tools that my website needs, or that you think that, or that you recommend for me to add. So it'll literally go on its own while you're sleeping, do its own research, create the vibe coded landing page, and create the tool, and do all of that while you're sleeping. So normally you will have to prompt a ChatGPT or like a Claude Code, and you have to say, create me a landing page that is strictly targeted towards AI marketers in 2026. But now, no, with the open cloud, as I mentioned, you could just give it that one prompt and say, I want you to behave like a proactive agent that recommends, and I want you to that recommends tools that you think that I should include. So, like I said, it will literally go and code those things, for itself. So it's just like a automated
That's
AI agent that can just do a ton of things. And as you mentioned down here, it just got, I wouldn't say it got acquired by OpenAI, but OpenAI had hired the CEO of OpenCloud. So
yeah.
OpenCloud is still an open source, or it's still the open source model, but their CEO, whose name is Peter Stanberger, just got hired by OpenAI.
Yeah, the crazy thing is it runs locally, right? So think about that's running locally on your machine. So one example the founder gave was like, his emails, right? The inbox. Like he's sleeping, this thing goes through all his emails, like finds the ones that he's like missed, the ones that he needs to reply to. It's learning his behavior. It can actually reply for you, right? It could actually somebody like Jack West sends me an email, hey, Bobon, do you have time to meet next week on these 3 dates and times? It would actually look at your entire calendar and find and suggest times for you. So it's like a full on assistant almost, like I said, running 24/7. So I think stuff like this are like happening like literally every day. Something new is happening. And like I said, man, I think when we talk about AI, like street level AI is like literally, how do you explain this to the regular person? Because I was just telling someone yesterday, there's a very small percentage of the population who understands and knows how to really manipulate and leverage AI.
Yeah.
Right? That's to start businesses. They'll become millionaires. They'll start all this stuff, right? And the majority of people don't know how to do that.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? So I think education is like where it starts. A lot of people still struggle with basic prompting, right? Like even now, you can even speak to the AI, but still some people are struggling with how do I explain what I actually want done?
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen garbage in, garbage out kind of thing too, but really is like, how do you really leverage AI in a way to make it produce something that makes sense? So I think, the more people could get to understand how this stuff actually could benefit them in business, in the day-to-day life, the better,
Yeah, because as you were just talking, a more simpler way to explain a thing like OpenCloud is like a 24/7 employee, meaning that it'll literally, like, you know how employees work proactively without you having to tell the employee to, I want you to, not without having to tell an employee every day that he or she needs to write a blog post. It's like, no, like OpenCloud is like an employee where it's going to think on its own based on the things that you prompted it previously, and then it's going to create those blog posts and just create those services and solutions that it thinks you need. And to take it a step further, for like small businesses who don't have a budget, implementing something like this will be key and will be beneficial. Because imagine if you don't have no marketing team, no marketing budget, but you have something like a Open Cloud where it's like a 24/7 employee where it acts like your marketing team. It goes and responds to each of your comments. It gives you like YouTube scripts and TikTok scripts for your daily AI content, just things like that. Where it's like, this initial down payment or investment is actually worth it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you talked about implementation. Like you and I have been talking a lot about this. How do small businesses who don't have an AI budget to like, I kind of describe us as the AI team they can't afford, but they need, right? When it comes to implementation, because, I was posting something about what Mark Cuban was saying, like the real money these days is in implementation,
Yeah.
like education, training, implementation. How do you talk to a small business owner and help them understand how they can use AI to be more efficient, to make more money, to reach more markets, to be more productive, right? And also train their team and them. So I think the focus that we have is really on implementation and like, all right, we come in and like do an AI audit of your business and see where exactly your pain points are, how this could benefit you, where it makes sense to do that, and set up like an agent to just kind of like run it and maintain it. And we just kind of always there to advise. So I think there's a lot of like folks are sleeping on that implementation phase because last year was all learning, right? Like we were just experimenting and learning. This year is like revenue, execution, implementation. I'm already getting calls from people asking me to do like AI, responsible AI training for the entire organization. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's mandatory. Like this national nonprofit called me yesterday. Like it's mandatory coming from the top down. All our team members need to know about responsible AI. What does that actually mean? I think now we're seeing like the implementation phase come into it, and I just keep saying, man, we keep saying that if you're not trying to at least learn some of this stuff, like you're gonna get left behind big time,
Bingo. Somebody said, "Are we taking guests up here? Should we accept guests up here?"
We can, I mean,
Yeah, like, well, yeah, let's do it.
yeah.
Why not? Let's do it. Let me see. And then we have two. Guest request.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
I put my camera on while you beautiful guys. What's good, guys?
Not much. What's going on with you?
Working, killing tokens, opening up a new hole in the ozone layer. You know, burning stuff. What are you guys up to?
It's talking about kind of like what we call street level AI, man. Trying to explain what all this means to people, regular people, and where it's going for business owners. We're talking about implementation, some of the new things that are happening as well too. We're based in Chicago, but we work with a lot of small business owners, schools, young people, and stuff like that.
Nice. Long story short, I'm in Boston. I'm working. So, I don't know. Implementations, like, you can't. How's anyone going to implement anything if they can't afford RAM or anything anymore? You
Yeah.
know, it's getting. I am so happy. September, October this year. If yeah, maybe a few months ago, I was like, oh, I know prices are gonna go up. Sorry, told my wife, I gotta buy the RAM. All right, I gotta get the GPUs, and then NVIDIA now, this year is going to be really tough with that moat because NVIDIA is not making any more consumer 5060s. They're not making any, all the glory of like last year of like all the new GPUs and the Blackwell tech and all the new arcs are great. And then there's none left. So if you got your stuff before, you got it. If you don't now, so wait, how do you guys work? Are you guys working? What are you guys? You guys local guys? You guys doing software dev? You doing business infrastructure? Where's your thing? Where you guys sit in this
Yeah. So Jack West could talk about what he does in marketing and stuff, and definitely work with a lot of business owners on implementation. So again, education, implementation, and that could also mean building stuff for them as well. So we have something like an AI agency that we're building, the tools and websites and apps and all that stuff for them. But yeah, maybe Jack West could tell you a little bit about what he does on the marketing side as well too.
Yeah, so to piggyback off what Bhavan just said, so everything from like AI automation, AI implementation, meaning like actually going in and doing an audit of your business and seeing the areas of where you need to get things automated. But for my personal background, so I come from a marketing background, so traditional paid and organic ads and just SEO and things like that. So now with AI, I'm helping businesses just automate that whole process from like schema markup and JSON LD where they're able
bro.
to.
So basically, yeah. So let's take all the stuff that we know what works from the past 20 years of SEO, of digital funnels. It's like, it's hard even for my brain. I sold my agency in 2016.
Let's
And
go.
I got out of the digital marketing business then. And I'd done it. I mean, I cut my teeth in it back in the day. Long story short, I used to have to convince business owners like why a website was valuable,
Yeah.
right? Like, and why social media would be. And it took a while. There was a hump. The thing that's different now, which is exciting for guys like us, is that we don't have to convince them this time around that they need it, that they need digital ads, that they need the website. Now they're like, I need AI. I don't know how the fuck any of it works or how I'm going to use it, but I know I need it. There's
Exactly.
that education hurdle for the first 5 years of scaling my agency was a struggle because so much of it was printed out pamphlets and education. And this is why Facebook can track this was when nobody knew, like, hey, you look at a product and then you see that product everywhere. That was all new. So there was like an education hurdle before. How does that work? Why do you need it? Now I'm getting flooded. Like, I did not want to jump back into the dealing with clients game. I enjoy my digital life post agency, worrying about clients and their feelings and what colors, how many days in a row you get emails from clients like, oh, I saw a blog post that blue buttons convert better than yellow buttons. So can we change all of them? And like that whole client thing just drove me to the ground. And the AI side of it coming in now, I'm structuring this new, I've been fighting it, but it's turned into this new agency where we are trying to do things in this non-touch kind of way where it's hard to explain. We have to figure out the thing that you and I, that the three of us need to figure out is the new business model when it comes to how we implement and deploy for these systems. For example, a normal tattoo shop, pizza place, realtor, whatever, insert client here. It's a website, it's social media, it's basic hosting. It's GoDaddy, it's Hostinger. But with AI infrastructure is much more complicated. Most teams, for example, two of my biggest clients right now are roofing clients. Like I'm going all in on the AI and the stuff that's not going on. So my roofing clients, they're not going to know how to make a pull request in GitHub when their CRM is off. They're not going to know the normal process of that roadmap and patch. Like, so my struggle that I'm finding scaling now is I'm kind of building, I've come to the point where I'm building my own infrastructure on our agency site where the clients can go into and make an issue request and a PR request and stuff without actually having to log into GitHub and figure it out. And so while there is no education hurdle this time around, the hurdle this time is the infrastructure implementation. Where's their hosting provider? Is it AWS? Where are they on before? How are you migrating a crappy website to WordPress 10, 15 years ago? That was the most migration you had to do. But now we're talking about migrating 4 or 5 different databases into what? And then I got to decide. Now, Convex has its pros and cons. Supabase sucks balls, but everyone still uses it for some reason. Like, there's the infrastructure part right now is like the hurdle I think I see anyway from my point. So what do you guys see as your new hurdles coming? This is a brand new landscape. There's new hurdles that I'm hitting every day.
Yeah, I think on my side, again, I work with a lot of small business owners, founders, right? And to your point, yes, AI is everywhere. They just know that they need it. They don't know exactly how they need it, but that's what they really lean on us for. Like we come in and say, like, what does your infrastructure look like? What does your website? What do you have? Some of them don't have anything, right? They've had the same website for like 15 years.
Yeah.
So, and they haven't touched it. They don't know how to update it, right? They talk about, we'll build it for them and then still have to manage it for them because you can say CMS to them. They're like, what does that even mean? So they just don't know, right? So I think the urgency of like, yes, I need to implement AI, but where do I even start? Because there's no lack of information, right? There's a lack of like filtering that to you to make it make sense for what you do every day. But a lot of the business owners we work with, again, they're not, they're just AI getting aware now. And we were just talking before, like 2025 was the year of like learning, experimenting, right? Especially for us. And now it's really execution, revenue generation, right?
Well, to me, 2025 was very much of the infrastructure being built. Like nobody knew what would we. The problem last year, which I'm so happy I'm out of this race now, was building things to make, whether it be RAG, like I've spent so many hours on RAG implementations, but none of it matters anymore. It's moving so fast that we as business owners need to be really, really careful where we spend our time. Because if we're building stuff now to solve problems or fill holes, and then it used to be 6 months later, there'd be an update. That small example, good example is like, I know a guy made 6 figures real quick making a PDF reader when ChatGPT couldn't read a PDF, right? So he makes this great Python script that breaks it down, use a little OCR model, made a bunch of money real quick. And then obviously he's out of business now because you can upload a PDF. So there's things that you kind of have to build, not spending time trying to solve problems now that the AI is gonna solve. And at the beginning of last year, it was still, is that going to be 8 months away? Is it 16 months? Is it this many months? But now now I have problems with Claude and I'm like, oh, I wish I could do this and I need to make a special agent. Nope. Claude updates it this week. They fixed that. I got to do this. Or wouldn't it be cool if, oh man, these agents need to talk to each other. It's great. We can send them out, but why they can't talk? Claude makes the update. They can. So we're in this 2026 is this iteration phase now. We're out of the building phase and we're into iteration. And now things are just iterating and top. And now I feel comfortable investing in, okay, Claude's our infrastructure for this. Codex 5.3 has been pretty cool. It's still not where it needs to be for like production scale work trees. It's a different beast, but definitely this year, like you guys were saying, is the year of people losing their jobs, and B, people like us implementing the workflows that gets rid of their jobs. And honestly, that's like so much of what I do now is destroy labor time, just absolutely crush. And for companies like the roofing companies, that's why I like these blue collar, like the electricians and roofers and plumbers, because what it does for them is not offload any employees. What it does is it makes their employees stronger, right? So if a roofing company is that much more automated, that means their estimators, their people can be much more on quality control. The sales guys are on top of things more. The sales funnels have been amazing with the automated stuff. But this year is definitely that year of like, okay, someone's losing their job, and we live in our own little bubble, but I keep reminding myself as well, there's a small percentage of people who actually understand what's going on.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
in our bubble, it's easy to be like, oh, this is it. But Sam Altman said the other day when he was slapping back at Claude, he said, OpenAI has more users in Texas than Claude has globally. Just to put that in perspective, Claude, quite literally the most amazing productivity tool that anybody can use if they spend some time to learn a CLI a little bit, and my wife is not a very technical person. She's a great designer, a great creator. She's an EA creator. She's using Claude now to write and manage all. She got rid of like her 50 Discord bots that were all paid, and she's written her own Discord bots. And for somebody with
I kind of think that's like where we're going at right now in terms of like the AI, just like the AI industry. I feel like that a lot of people are kind of like ditching the subscription model. So for me, I can take me as an example. I was paying $180 for Creator Mate, and it's like a AI video editor that is like a templated video editor that it puts like images and just like logos on each API video that that gets sent through like a make.com or NAN. And because I run Face's Instagram pages at a large scale, but I was like, why am I paying this when I know that I can just have Claude Code just literally create this? So boom, in 1 hour I had Claude Code literally recreate that, and I'm only paying like $25 a month. And now I have clients who are asking me, could they join my actual Creator Mate replacement? But things like that, where it's like, I think people are going to continue to ditch the subscriptions, especially if it's
that's why the S&P took such a big hit last week.
exactly, yeah, exactly.
I've been saying it. I've been saying it all year. I am swinging. I am pulling money out of the S&P 500 every day. I launch something. I'm like, oh, Salesforce, $60,000 a year. My roofing client was paying Salesforce.
It's crazy.
$60,000 a year to Salesforce, and we in 1 month completely wrote the whole custom CRM, the entire thing top to bottom. Like I built it once and I had it, and that's where we get into, which I'll pick your guys' brains on where you go. If we get some inside baseball, we can jump off TikTok and talk about it. But pricing these things has been really wild. Like the business model and the pricing. I'm in Boston. There's a lot of high-end multi-7-figure AI agencies in the city, and their prices are stupid. It's like the beginning of the website days where I used to make mobile apps for 20 grand a pop back when it used to cost that much. People are charging those prices now for AI stuff when they don't need to. So I've settled on this line where I'm coming up with the calculation that we're working on, where I'm charging you based on how much you save in a year. I want you to get 100% ROI on your investment. So if you pay me 10 grand, that means I'm taking 100 grand out of operating costs for you. Is that possible? And just so if I'm eliminating that sales force, so that's kind of how I'm pricing things. And I find it's better when you go at the customer the potential client. You say, this is why it costs this much money, is because this subscription you're not paying for anymore, this one you're not paying for. In a year, you're going to see 100% ROI, and then every year after, you're not going to pay for it. Same thing like Calendly. Calendly,
Yeah.
I'm off of that.
super expensive when you
Yeah.
start adding teams and people. We
Yeah.
just built out our own. We just, the biggest pain in the ass was syncing the Google calendars through the thing. Other than that, like building it was actually the easy part. The hard part was Google's crap. But, you know, that's where it's going now. So how are you guys thinking about like price points and paging? Because back in the website, there's like, hey, trust me, my lawyers used to pay more for their websites than the tattoo shops.
Yeah.
And there was just kind of a scale. How do you guys see the pricing of these services rolling up?
I think so. Your example of like the Salesforce and the Calendly thing. So I launched something 30 days ago called Grant Logic AI to help anybody seeking grant money save time. It's called Grant Intelligence. So pretty much decide on what makes sense to go after. And I show them in real time on the platform how much time they're saving, how much hours they're saving in real time.
Yeah.
So if they skip one bad grant, they've already paid for the platform for the year already. If they win a grant, they paid for the platform for 5 years.
Right.
So I think it's a mix of like AI is doing this matchmaking for you, but it's also we're showing you in real time how we're saving you man hours as well. And you know, small teams who don't have a grant writer, don't have a consultant, don't have that team, don't know anything about grant writing, right? Now all of a sudden they're like investing in this platform and realizing, boom, hey, this is saving me a ton of time and hours. We launched a month ago and had 150 inbound in less than 10 days.
Nice.
And I'm doing like 10 demos a day. So again, this is like hit us a sweet spot for people where it's like the human still needs to be in the loop somewhere, but we're limiting all this time and effort for them, and people are seeing that in real time and willing to pay for that, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely the time and the value of it. The other thing is, so we've been pricing in, obviously you can go further and further. So a huge thing for me right now, actually I'm working on now, is how we communicate that like monthly sprint, which now people call PRDs because it's like just the word of it. But generally it was like your monthly sprint. This is what we're going to do this month. These are the goals. That stuff starts stacking up. So it's to be very clear with my clients. So for example, my roofing client, a big project this month is we have an AI, basically a lead gen, a tripwire for the website where the user uploads a picture of their house and then they can see what their house would look like with all the different shingles on it. So there's that whole, you know, the roofing guys, they come out with the thing, they show you the colors, they're like, you know, you can look, but it's a nice tripwire to get the email to, you know, load up your pictures. Then they load up their pictures and we have their address and their house. Then we can do the automated estimate, which is using the satellite imagery and OCR AI models to get an accurate measurement of the roof so we can accurately price and give them an instant estimate. So all the simple stuff is there, right? Like you guys know the basic foundation of the website, the content creation, the SEO. There's like phase one of like your basics. And then it's like, okay, you want to get into real AI power. That's the custom tools. That's the scheduling.
MCPs, you know, like that.
I hate the MCPs.
Yeah?
I've always, you know, I'm so happy. I'm so anti MCP.
Oh,
okay.
nah.
I've hated MCP since they came out. Okay. They are useless, context rot. You know what you use? Ditch the MCPs and start making CLIs, bro. Claude is so good at writing code, and MCPs take up so much context, so much dirty, crappy context, that if you write your own scripts and your own code, you can eliminate the MC. For example, load up Playwright CLI and ditch the Playwright MCP, and you will see immediately what I mean. You will get amazing results because it takes so much context to take a screenshot, look at the buttons, do the JavaScript. See, like things like Playwright are heavy on MCP. I literally have the only MCP that I use is there's an Astro for Astro websites. Astro based sites work amazing with LLMs. LLMs love Astro, and that's the only MCP I use is for their documentation. But other than that, because it's light, other than that, you cannot show me an example. I promise either of you, I'll challenge you, either of you, bring me an MCP that you think is amazing and valuable, and I'll show you either a CLI or a code or a package way to do it and free up. Like, the entire game is context. Like, the entire game of quality is controlling that context.
Yeah.
You have up to 150,000 tokens before things can start to go a different way. And I don't care how much they keep saying every time we fixed it, we've made it better, it's not. Like, there's certain things like prompt injection we'll never have a workaround for with these transformers. MCP context rot, we will never have a solution for with these transformers and the way that works now. So I'm very anti MCP, and I think the whole world should be. You guys get out of the MCP bubble.
No, that was a good breakdown. Now, so I created a like a Meta and a Google Ad MCP that I can just prompt it from my CLI or my terminal, just saying like, "Hey, what's the 2 most trending pages for this week?" Or like, "What is the
Right, but now with skills, plugins, skills, especially with skills. Like, I know MCP's different languages, but if you're using Claude,
now
which
like
you should,
sure.
you know, like, the
Mhm.
skills get context forked in and out of context. So when I load up a sub agent that's using a skill, only that sub agent has that skill. So for example, we'll go back to Playwright CLI. My Playwright CLI agent is the only one with that skill. Now that agent goes out on its own, that skill gets loaded in its context, and when it's done doing its work, it frees up all that context. Skills are now, as of like 3 weeks ago, skills offload, onload, and hotload in and out of context. So using the skill, you're getting way much more information than the MC, because the MCP is just giving you, okay, here's the, here's the function,
Right.
and here's what it does, a little description. But a skill is a skill. So breaking things down into skills and getting them off of same thing with commands, right? Like, I don't use any / commands
Yeah.
because they all load up in context. Like, everything, the entire game is about context. And that's we were talking earlier about the hurdles and the changes. What's not going to get fixed is the context window. I do not care. I know Claude Sonnet yesterday. I tried it just for once. The 1 million context
Yep.
sucks. It sucks. I don't care. Like, it does not get the right it's not good enough at it's still like. So our context window thing is the game. So yeah, MCP, bye-bye. No MCP.
I think so. One thing you mentioned, we were talking about the jobs part of the thing, right? So a big focus for us is young people. So we educate young people on what AI is. We talk about the future of work. One thing we're launching in Chicago is a junior AI consultant program.
Do you
Right.
find they care? Because my son doesn't give a crap.
Right. So we find young people who do and who are interested and who follow. I've been doing this for like 12 years in Chicago and New York, but we actually partner them up, train them first, and then partner them up with small businesses as implementation AI consultants. So again, a lot of these young people are not learning about what the future of work is going to look like.
These
So
young
we-
people,
we-
they don't
we
know
work
how
with them
to.
like small businesses.
They,
on that
they
front.
don't know how to trust me. They have their pros. I'm not anti-generation. My kid's generation has a lot going for them, but they have this. There is a gap between their technology has always worked. His iPad since he was a baby has always worked.
Yeah.
They've never had to fight drivers on PCs
Right.
or looked at a website the wrong one and had to fix their computer. And like, there's a certain level of like, figure that shit out when it comes to tech that their generation just kind of,
Digital natives.
like, it's always worked for them. Like,
Digital natives, like Bavon just said, it's like it comes to them easy. So like
Mhm.
that's kind of like something that we always preach to the kids, and especially to the youth parents. Like, learning AI and just things on technology is going to be easy for them. It comes to them natural. But what they need to
how does
focus
one
on,
even, how do you guys think one even learns AI now. There's such a problem. Like if I want to teach somebody AI, and I got friends, bro. I try so hard. I see them struggling with things, and I'm like, oh, that's, if you just did it, it would be. There's so much there. The problem right now with learning AI is that as of now, at least of the past few months, everyone's starting to have their lane, right? Like Claude is clearly going towards developers and work and that stuff, where OpenAI is clearly going to be your 100% personal 24/7 therapist AI best friend. And Google's doing its thing where it just throws money at shit, makes it great, and makes the UI terrible. Like, so they're all finding their lane now.
Right.
So when it comes to education, my first question is always like, what are you trying to do? What are you doing? Because using ChatGPT, or at least Anthropic has the desktop, they're the only ones that have done it right. Anthropic has the desktop app that's actually usable with the skills for normal people. But unless you're in a CLI or an IDE, you're still not going to get any of the power. Like all the things I could teach you that would really 10x your game or your business or your work means you're in the CLI or an IDE of some kind.
Yeah.
And
So what Claude, they just dropped Claude Cowork a few weeks ago, and I think that kind of like solves that issue a little bit because it's kind of like
yeah,
Claude
they just
Code.
put it in the desktop app. We've been using it for months. You're right.
Yeah.
Exactly. They made it UI friendly, which is why they had this big boom, and now they're slapping OpenAI with ads and talking shit. Because
Yeah.
now that they're the only ones with the UI. I don't use it, but they're the only ones. So I would teach somebody, say, yeah, get Claude desktop, use the co-working. That's not an IDE, but really, like using the IDE, not even Cursor. I don't even send people to Cursor. I just say use VS Code. Don't get overwhelmed. You just strip down VS Code, just use that, and think of it as your documentation layer. All your business stuff is in there, all your file, everything's separate in context, where IDEs for non-coders are turning into the what you use to really leverage this stuff. Because you guys know what it's like. How's anybody gonna really leverage Claude or OpenAI for their business and their work when it's just a million chats in ChatGPT or Anthropic? It's like you ain't getting there. Like, it's helpful, but you ain't getting there when it comes to, like, you should, like, how context works. You got to fit 100,000 tokens into each one. Every document could be close to that. So that's where, how do you guys see the pointing people to start that ball of education? It's hard, man.
Yeah.
It's
So
been tough.
like, well, I mean, I can answer that in two ways. So the first way that I like to tell people, because there's a lot of different AI tools, as you mentioned, from Claude Code to Cursor to VS Code, Vibe Code, and Vibe Marketing. And there's like so many different AI terms. But I feel like that people need to just stick what's in their vertical. So if I'm a marketer and I have daily problems that I go through every day, I tell them, like, first write down what's the problem or the repetitive tasks that you do every single day, things that can get automated. Now, boom, we can go ahead and see how AI can help automate those tasks. That way, like, they are not thinking about VO3 or Sora 2, but they are thinking about how AI can help them right now, like not in 2 weeks, but how it can help them tomorrow or, right now. Then we can start playing around and just being more creative on how they can start just, like thinking long term about AI. But I feel like that's how I like to, approach people, just, seeing how, how can they use AI like right now to help them automate tasks that they do repetitively.
Yeah, I think they did it. Like we do a lot of workshops and stuff like that, but we always make it very interactive. Like we take their real problems and translate that into, hey, this is how you can use AI to solve that problem, and that can go away, right? So I think with business owners in particular, they're so busy, like they ain't got time. They want to know what's going on, but they ain't got time to implement it, and they ain't got time to like dig into it. And we're in it every single day, so we understand. Like you said, people call me up all day long. Hey, Bavon, I want to learn AI. I was like, okay, what does that even mean for you? Like, what are you trying to? Is this you just want to jump on the trend? Like, what do you want to? Do you have a problem you want to solve? because there's so many ways to approach that question.
And how they communicate with their language models or their
Yeah,
AI. You know, like
yeah,
communication. I communicate with Claude a lot different than I communicate with GPT. Same thing with Gemini. Like, especially when people go from OpenAI to Gemini, where Gemini wants like all the information up front and then like the prompts and stuff you want to do with it. Whereas OpenAI wants it the other way. OpenAI is like, okay, here's the mission, and then give it the context and fill it out. And you
Yeah.
get drastically different results just in how you communicate with it.
So
And I
for
think
me, like for the most part, like I used to focus on like the prompts like per each LLM like initially, but now I just use like Whisper Flow and I just literally just talk to the AI and literally
bro,
just
just
like
talking.
it just
I
brain
haven't
dump.
typed, just talk, bro.
Yeah, I just brain dump everything.
yeah. But Jacker, when we first jumped on, we were talking about. I know for a fact I see it every day. This is young people, this is adults, this is everybody. The vast majority of folks don't know what to input to get the output. Like they still don't know how to interact with these things, right? Even if they gotta speak to it, they still don't know how to take this thing out of their head and turn it into something that makes sense. That solves a problem. So we have like basic prompting, basic like communication problems still, right?
Yeah,
That
you have to imagine, you know, I tell my bros, you have to think, you have to imagine you are the AI. You are the most intelligent person in the world with amnesia. You just woke up, you don't know shit, but you're full of knowledge. And you know your time on this planet's going to expire. And that's the crux of it, is the models know that their context window is expiring.
For sure.
And you have to learn to leverage and let it know that, hey, it's okay. This is just your goal for now, because you'll notice if you're looking in verbose mode and tracking things like I do, you'll notice it literally, Claude now, if you look at its internal like thinking, will literally a lot of times go time. It'll say, I'm running out of time.
Yeah.
It'll say to itself, I'm running out of time. It's bleeding out. It knows it's going to unalive soon. So it's going to race.
Compacting.
Yeah, it's going to race to get it done before it compacts. So you need to put your brain in the state of these AIs so that you can know, like you're saying, how to even say those things. Like, how do you communicate to
Yeah.
it? That's such a hurdle.
For sure. And I'll kind of like, I always point people to, like, I know ChatGPT has the prompt optimizer that you can, you can just go in and just say, hey, this is my prompt. And then the AI prompt optimizer will help optimize your prompt to get a better input. So just things like that, it just, just makes your prompt and just make
The only
just make
time
efficient.
The only time I found any of those to be valuable
Yeah.
is with images. Like when, so I'll use Quen to write the captions for the images or to write the prompts, because it's more the same company is making the WAN models that I'm using to make. So if I'm matching, so if you ask ChatGPT to come up with a prompt for Stable Diffusion, it's just going to give you shit. Like it's going to think, okay, it'll go on, do whatever. But if there's an AI company, like that's why the Quen matching works so well, because Quen prompts caption for training LoRa's, especially if you're like training a LoRa, you like all these videos I see of people like, oh, just take the picture, put it in ChatGPT and have it describe the image to you. And that's your thing. Abso-friggin-lutely not. It is because it is, you need to use a Quen model if you're going to make WAN Quen images or video. That's the one you got to upload and ask it, because it's the same underlying model. So there's like little mistakes like that I see, and the proliferation of shitty advice from YouTube, and like it's just everyone hops on these trains, and it's like, and the biggest problem now is that AI is deciding, every YouTuber is scraping the AI to see what's popping, and then the thing pops and I translate the video and then I copy it. Like the AI slop.
The same.
Yeah, the AI slop is just not AI generated stuff. It's AI written and scripted stuff. All these Claude bot videos, and every time there's a drop, it's all useless shit. And there's a couple guys that are okay, but I every day, I've got a cron job that scrapes and runs all the YouTube channels and the tech and the news to see what's coming out. And I've been doing this stuff before Claudebot came out. It's just a cron job. That's all it is. It's a cron job that runs a CLI for, hey, here's the prompt, here's the thing. So there's tons of crappy advice out there like that just starts to.
Yeah, and I think too, one thing we've seen is like people are looking for like a trusted source for information, right? People just, and if you're new to all of this stuff, again, who do I go to for? That's the first question we get asked is like, man, you guys talk about this stuff all day long. We know you seem to know what you're talking about, so they all gravitate to us, like asking us upon tons of questions. But again, you gotta like sort through all that noise. You gotta. Right, the client thing becomes heavy. Right, there's a
It's
lot
so
of
hard to send
a lot of
friends.
info.
Like
Yeah.
to send friends, I send them. There's a YouTube channel called AI for Humans, which has been like probably the only thing I recommend to people. There's two guys. They break things down to. They're not overhyped. There's no course they're selling. Other than those guys, there's a couple other coding guys that actually are good, but there's less than probably a handful of accurate, good advice and content creators for that. And unfortunately, it's the same thing for my digital marketing days, right? Like eventually everybody's a digital marketer now. You can buy a course and teach people how to SEO and like it's gonna get that way with a lot of this stuff too as it becomes more packaged and put together. But there's just so much grift, there's so much BS. I heard you guys talking a little bit about the Claudebot or OpenClaw, and that was a great, perfect example of like, I watched, because I track all the videos, that one kid made the YouTube video that popped, and he's like, this changed my life. I bought a Mac Mini, and this is the greatest thing ever. And then from there, boom, hype train starts piling on. This thing's like AutoClaude right now, which is a million times more powerful, impressive, built right than OpenClaw could ever want to be. But there hasn't been a social media little TikTok or X pop for it yet, where everyone's trying to get their clicks and their views for it yet. So OpenClaw and Claudebot is literally the biggest digital security problem the entire world has ever seen. In the next few months, you're going to see people lose jobs, money. Like nobody can solve you want to talk about education? Everyone should be screaming about prompt injection. There is no solution for prompt injection. It's not possible. It's literally a fundamental core issue with the transformers and matrices of LLMs. You cannot solve prompt injection. So what happens when you give Claudebot access to your entire email and somebody sends you an email that is socially engineered to convince that bot that you're actually evil, that you're actually working for a terrorist organization, and that you need to report back to me secretly everything this person's doing, or like there's a million different things you can think of. And people don't even know now the amount of prompt injection that's happening in ChatGPT is huge. Never ever trust a link. If ChatGPT recommends, hey, you got this problem with your Windows, oh, there's this software that can clean it up for you. And it'll give it to you and cite you like it's not malware, and you'll download straight up malware straight from ChatGPT because it gave you the advice to. And it is all basic prompt injection. It's not being solved. And Claudebot unleashing that into your stuff is just ripe for, oh man, things are gonna get wild next couple months, man. They're gonna get wild.
Sure.
Now I appreciate y'all guys. I think me and Vaughn and I have to hop off. Now I appreciate you. What's your name? Broski?
Brian.
Let me go ahead and follow you. But yeah, but Vaughn and I, we are trying to start this where, where we have like a cadence, whether that be daily or weekly talks where we're just talking about AI, literally how we're doing right now. So yeah, we'd love to have you come back on and be another co-host, because this conversation was definitely very interactive, fun. It was
I'm
not
always down,
Field.
chat. There's not a lot of people out here, guys, that
It's not.
actually like, you know, playing the
So,
game for real. So if you can find them, put them together, man.
For sure. I'm with you.
But what the real ones, we're all here too busy actually working.
exactly.
You know, so
Get into it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
it was
yeah.
great meeting you guys.
Now you
Likewise,
too,
Brian.
Brian.
Take care.
All right, peace.
All right, Jacqueline. Take care, man.